So this book is pretty cool. This book I got at Harry Potter Studios tour down south somewhere. I think it's like London or somewhere near to London. This was in 2014, I think it was. It was a birthday present from my family. We went down to this Harry Potter Studios tour and they had like a gift shop at the end. And I thought this book looked really cool, so I bought it and decided to turn it into a sketchbook. It was kind of a mistake because the paper quality inside it isn't very good. You know, like with most sketchbooks, you've got this like rough sort of texture, really good for sort of pencils and inks and stuff. This one did not have that texture, it's more like a smooth kind of card sort of texture, and it just wasn't very good for drawing on. So we're getting into like end of 2014, 2015, bits of 2016 as well, I think. And so here we go. So yeah, I got drawings of Flux. I think I was kind of going through a style change. I tend to, as a warm-up, if I want to draw something and I've got absolutely no ideas what to draw, I will just draw my OCs, just doing normal things, just with a normal happy expression. And that usually sort of gets sort of the cobwebs out a little bit. Nowadays I actually try and warm up by doing more sort of gesture drawings. I'll just find a pose, cool pose on the internet, and then just try and draw it within like 5-10 minutes. Yeah, I was drawing Flux doing like a cool little Sonic run cycle, and then I was drawing him in like a chibi Wind Waker-y style, and then I was trying to turn my persona into a dragon at one point. Because this is in a Harry Potter book, I decided to draw him with the Harry Potter glasses and the scar, and he's being told that he's a wizard. And then I was practicing my side profiles, and then I returned to my OC, my old OC at one point. And I was trying to draw a side profile of like a scaly character, which obviously I wasn't happy with, so I scribbled it out. That was another habit I got into where I'd sort of like, if I didn't like a drawing, I'd just scribble it out. Nowadays I try not to do that. Nowadays I just try and like move on and draw the next thing, and just try and really sort of make the finished sort of sketch pop out a bit more, so that people's eyes are drawn more to the finished sketch than the rough ideas. And then I drew Flux as like a Sonic OC. I actually quite enjoyed the Sonic art style. Even nowadays, now that I don't draw as much Sonic fan art, I still like to sort of return to that style every now and then. I think this was me trying to design a Lynx character, which I did end up designing in the end. And then I was drawing Flux in a more sort of traditional cat style. And then I think I was doing more designs for Flux's brother, which became more like that. I think I was drawing a design for a younger Flux as well, so I was drawing him with like longer hair and stuff, which I think on the next page I did return to that idea. And I guess I was trying to draw that again. Once again, the habit of leaving a blank page with nothing on it. I think this was a character from Sonic Boom. I've forgotten the name of him now, but like when he sort of appeared on screen, I had a bit of a crush on him. And then I don't know what this is. If tagged, write out this message and tag 10 people. I think this was like a handwriting meme or something. So I attempted it in my worst handwriting possible because my handwriting is awful. And then I think there was a section where I had to do it in cursive. And then I even did a drawing going, I'm better at drawing than writing. I think this is rough sketches of a comic that I actually did draw. I think this was like a prologue for a comic. I was doing like a comic about Flux's backstory. And I'll post a link to that because that is up on the internet somewhere. And you know, it never really sort of went anywhere. But I'm still proud of my attempt at making that comic, and it looks pretty cool. I think these are more thumbnails. I think I was doing designs for Flux's mum and dad. I don't think I really sort of committed to that, and I still haven't really done any sort of finalised designs for Flux's mum and dad. And then I think this is more designs for after the prologue, which I never actually finalised. Maybe at some point I'll come back to this. I think my issue with this comic is I never really came up with a good enough plot or a decent enough ending, and so it just kind of was an ongoing thing that I wanted to try and work on, but yeah, I never really sort of got very far with it. I struggle committing to drawing comics. I really want to do like graphic novel-y stuff, but I'm not much of a writer, so I have a hard time committing to drawing comics. So I think what I need to do is maybe start off smaller, which I have done recently, and try and like work my way up to doing a more kind of story-based thing. I think these were designs for some supporting characters for that same comic. So this was Lily and Monty, which were based on my friend's cats at the time. So I was making these like Flux's best friends that try and like help him through his struggles and stuff and wind him up and whatever else. And then I think that was the dad character again. Then this was a vent piece. I think at the time I was like just really stressed at work, and I felt like I couldn't really speak up about it. So this was me drawing that feeling at the time. It's not often I do vent art, but it does help to sort of get stuff on my chest sometimes. I think this was me preparing for like the comic and stuff, so I was just drawing Flux in different angles. I think I was trying to practice like scale because then you had this drawing, which this was like Flux being a macro, I guess. That Link's character that I eventually designed, just kind of like, what? And then it's just Flux with like different expressions and stuff. Same with this one as well, just more expressions. This is me designing Flux's room for the comic as well. Again, trying to practice that perspective sort of style, which I think it still looks pretty decent actually. I think I already had a good sort of concept in my head about how to draw perspective. And so I think now it's just a case of me trying to sort of work on that a bit more and sort of really refine it. There's more panels from the comic and then just more expression practices. I think this might have been Flux's brother again. Then just some chibi designs for Flux and then more sort of comic thumbnails. These were much smaller thumbnails. This was just me sort of planning out where I wanted the panels to go. And then more sort of draft sketches of the comic pages. And a cookie for some reason. What is this? I think, was this more brother designs? It says manly design concepts. Oh, it doesn't say manly. So these are design concepts for Monty in the comic, I think. I think this was the final design. I think this might be Lily. And then I did an anthropomorphized version of Clippy, because memes, and then a torso with legs and no head. This is more comic thumbnails, I think. This was once again for the prologue, so some more expression practice. And then it's my ex again, and then Flux with his hoodie up, looking a bit chibi-ish. I think this is when I attended my first ever life drawing class that was at Confuzzled back in 2015, and so this was the model who stripped down to his underwear and did some poses. And so some of these are more like scribbly stuff because it's like some exercises that involve like drawing without taking your pen off the paper, sort of drawing without looking at the paper, drawing all these different poses. I'm not particularly proud of these, they didn't come out particularly well. I wasn't very experienced at drawing from a live model. These are more life drawing practices. And that's actually one of the things I've been practicing a lot more lately, is drawing more sort of life models and gesture drawing and stuff. But again, it's all part of the practice. It doesn't have this paper so off, it's so weirdly smooth, and just the pencil just did not sort of stand out on this. It went a bit sort of blurry, I think. I think these are like the final drawings. Don't particularly like them, but again, I got a lot better at it as sort of the years passed. More just Flux at different angles, different expressions. I think that's the final designs for Monty and Lily. It was abroad at this point, so I was just drawing Flux being shirtless. I was on my summer holes. And then I think this is just me on the plane drawing other people. And then me just sunbathing, chilling. And then some Pokemon practice. I like that Gengar. I'm still really proud of that Gengar. I don't even know if I used a reference for that. I think I just did it off the cuff. And some like action poses. So this next page was just, I think this is where I was at the time. I think it was Skiathos in Greece. I think it was for my sister's wedding. We went to Skiathos, and so this was their bridal suite. And outside the bridal suite, we had this really cool outdoor space with an infinity pool. And I'd never seen an infinity pool before, and I thought it looked really cool. So I think I drew me and I think my ex just sort of hanging out together, being really chill. I was doing some more practice with action poses. So I've got him looking like Lara Croft with a gun, sort of throwing himself, and just like one of those like JoJo pose type things. I wasn't even into JoJo at this point. I think I was just aware of all the sort of dramatic anime poses, and so I was trying to sort of recreate that. And then an upside down Flux for whatever reason, and then Flux doing like a weird sort of stretch squat sort of thing. And then the infinity pool again. There's a Pokemon reference drawing, and then I think I was trying to practice like different art styles at this point. And then I drew, I think my friend Rad K9, who I commissioned at the time, drew that. And so this is me referencing that piece. I think this was a bear or a cat, I can't actually tell. I was trying to practice like different styles with the eyes and stuff, and different expressions. And that's inappropriate. I'm gonna hide that. That was like I think I was playing Final Fantasy at this time. I think we're getting to like 2016 at this point. I think I was drawing like a white mage character with a staff with a bad dragon dildo on the end of it. We're getting into like fur meat stuff. I think this was at like a mag meet, I think. So I think Strange drew that. And then I don't even know who drew that. They just randomly came up to me, started drawing my persona, and then gave it to me and then ran off. And then I think Splatoon was out at the time, so me trying to draw the female protagonist from the first Splatoon game. And I think that was me drawing Strange as a thanks for drawing Flux on the other page. And I think that was me drawing Flux as a summoner from Final Fantasy XIV, because that was the class I went with in the end. And then I think this is just me drawing other people's personas at Brunfurs, I think. Do you recognise any of these? like that's your character, because I actually don't remember who these are. It's terrible. I think practicing more side profiles, it's just random sketches. I think that's Flux, and I think that's Alex, and then I think Strange drew that. I think it was in France at this point, so I was drawing the place we were staying. This is like the pool area. I think Strange drew that. It's just a really grumpy Strange. And the other thing I was practicing, I think I was actually in France at this point. The other thing I was practicing was yoga poses. I still do that to this day actually. I draw yoga poses because they're really fun poses where the body is in like weird positions and stuff. My sister who's into yoga, that's her there, and my sister who's into yoga and stuff, I think she had a yoga book with like some cards that had like random poses, and so I just picked out some random cards, found some poses, and these were the ones that I ended up drawing. Same again, another yoga pose, and then I think it was just a reference piece that I found online. That's from a commission, I think from Wagner Mutt, I think it was. And then I was trying to draw like an older design for Flux, like Flux is like a 30-40-year-old, something like that. I don't actually like it. I think he still looks quite young. I think I was referencing some art pieces, just trying to learn different species, different body styles and stuff, and so I drew like a lizard character and then like a dragon character. I'm still kind of proud of that one. That looks really cool. And then I was trying to draw lions, and I think that was reference as well. I think that's in my own style, that's reference. And I was trying to practice hands. This is like a reference piece of someone else's art of one of the Zootopia tigers. Another reference piece, just again practicing different style. And then I think this was a character from Moridatsu, and then it was just Flux in my style, and I was trying to draw like the Persona 4 side profile character health bar thing. I think this is a furry, so there's penises and stuff because other people decided to deface my book, which is more than fine. I like it when people just come and draw their own things in my book. I think this might have been a Brumthers meet. So I think that's Strange, I drew that. And then I had a penis going towards my mouth, and then I think that might be Bubbles. And then that's Star Fox in my style, and then I think Flux is a dog again, but he looks more like a cat because I couldn't draw canine characters very well. Cats were my specialty. That's Strange again, and many penises. And then I don't know if those are Strange. I think there might be some other people which I can't remember. I can recognise my friends' art styles, but when random people draw stuff I don't tend to recognise it. I think that might be Strange as well. I think this is just other people's characters again at a fur meet. I think this was a selfie of me in real life that I then turned into a furry drawing. I think I was practicing a German Shepherd character. If I remember correctly, I was commissioned to draw a sticker pack, but I'd never drawn that type of character before, so I was really struggling with the actual commission. So what I did is I opened my sketchbook and just drew some German Shepherds from reference, and it really helped. That was me drawing it freehand, just drawing without any references, and then I actually found a reference piece and tried to sort of copy it, and so I learnt a lot from that, and it really helped the commission in the end. And that's a Persona drawing for Bubbles, and I think it's just like a dog character drawn in my own style, and I was trying to practice females as well. And this was a logo that I was trying to design, or like a banner, I think it was a banner for a gaming channel I was trying to set up at the time. It still exists, but I never really committed to it in the end. I think I decided that doing a gaming channel isn't really my thing. I want to focus on art instead. It took a lot of attempts for me to come to that conclusion, because I was one of these people that just wanted to do everything. So I would do everything and anything just to try and be creative and stuff, and so one of those things was I wanted to set up a gaming channel. This was a page where I was practicing loads of different styles of eyes, just drawing from like loads of reference pieces of other artists and stuff. Some of it was just from like media, some of it is other furry art. I think some of them might be just my own style, like anime and stuff. But I think this was a point where I was really trying to sort of evolve my style and work on different stuff, so I was really trying to change up Flux's look and style and stuff. And so this is me attempting like trying to apply these eyes to these drawings here. It's another reference piece. I think that was Quilava. I think I drew that without a reference and then went back afterwards and just refined it a little bit from a reference. I think it's just some dragon character. This is Raichu, drawn on my own style. I think again this was without a reference, but then I think I went back and checked the reference to like get the tail and stuff correctly. And then more dragons. I think this was drawn just off my own head, having drawn all these other Pokemon. I think I drew Flux as like a Pokemon trainer with some of the Pokemon that I like. And then more dragons, I think that's a reference piece. And this is me designing my own dragon character. This was a character called Orfar, or Orf for short. This was just an off-the-cuff thing I did when I was abroad. He then became a character for a comic that I wanted to write. Again, this is another attempt at me doing like a graphic novel-y thing. Unlike the other comic though, this does have a finished script with a beginning, middle and an end, and a plot running all the way through. It just became a case of actually sort of sitting down and refining the writing. I do want to return to it at some point, that is in the pipeline. Whenever that happens, I can't guarantee. This character did have a full reference sheet in the end, along with some other characters that you'll see in this sketchbook. In fact, I think that was me practicing legs, because I was trying to draw like more sort of digigrade style legs, and then I went into drawing the sort of villain antagonist character. This is Jespet, aka Jesp. He's like a male calico character, and which, you know, is meant to be a rare species. The idea was he was meant to be like this character that this guy was attracted to. In fact, one of the lines in the comic, the script for it was like, oh, I don't know what it is, but there's something special about him. And so the thing I ended up coming to the conclusion was what's special about him is, well, his personality, of course. You know, he's a handsome, charming young warrior, but also like the fact that he's a male calico is, you know, an interesting thing. You know, that's not very common even in this made-up world that I'd created. Sorry about that, I had to adjust the camera. So these were like some of the final designs for these characters, and I actually added a bit of colour to the calico character. Obviously very simple, just browns, greys, blacks, and then I was doing some full body designs as well. So this was his full body design. I think I kind of stuck to this actually. I don't think this is too dissimilar to like the final digital piece that I did for him, the ref sheet. And then this was just a random drawing of Orpha just doing like a kind of shy pose. One of his traits is that he's a gardener. So I think the world I'd created was like, the rules was like all dragons had a horde, and it could be literally anything, and so his horde was his garden. So he'd just grow all these like plants that had like weird sort of magical effects. And then yeah, some more designs for the cat character. This is where it gets kind of gay. So I was doing like a height reference for these two, and actually I think in the end I made him a lot taller. I wanted him to be like towering over this guy, but they totally have like the hots for each other. Me practicing drawing kissing with these two characters, and that's not something I've drawn very often. Drawing two characters interacting in any way is quite difficult, and so one of the things I did was drew two characters kissing, and I actually think to this day that's actually still kind of hot. And then this was just a random like creature that lived in this comic world. You can tell I put a lot of thought into this actually. This is probably more thought out than the other comic. And this was like one of the fruits or one of the vegetables that Orph was growing. One of these ones. If this was hurled at a character, it would make them temporarily tiny. I drew the character getting the thing thrown at him, and then him reacting to it, doing a sniffy sniff, and then him going, wait, something's happening, and then going really small and just kind of going, meh. And then I think this was more designs for the villain character. Just me practicing on legs and crotches, because you've got to be able to draw a decent crotch, am I right? I think the focus on this was actually like how lizard tails kind of one sort of flowing thing. It doesn't sort of come out from just the spine, it comes out from like the crotch area as well. This was a design for the front of Orphar's cave. So he's got his vegetable garden there and like a pathway, like a nice cobble path, and then that's just him inside the cave just kind of lounging around like a nest, sort of hay sort of bed. And then he's got like cobblestones on the inside of his cave as well. Okay, and then I think that was another attempt at drawing the villain character, but I obviously wasn't happy with it, so I crossed it out. And then I think this was going to be the cat character, Jespet. I think it was going to be his room. His room, his house. So it was like a kind of stone hut with like a woodeny floor and like a basic table with some, I think I made him like a leather crafter, so it's him with like his leatherworking stuff. And it's like cheap wooden bed and then just a hole in the window. And then I think this was more practice at turning Flux into like an older character. And I think the idea was that at some point in the comic you were going to meet like the king of this world, and so I decided that the king of this world was just a more sort of manly version of Flux, and so I was designing like again him looking a bit older and a bit manlier. And then on the next page I designed like a full body sort of outfit for him, of being like the king of this made up world. I thought that was a nice sort of thing to include, and the thing I like most, and I think this is inspired by Disney, is that like a lot of the characters that Disney sort of made were like actors, and so these actors would appear in like other stuff as other characters. So like how you have like Mickey, Donald and Goofy as like the Three Musketeers, but then they're just themselves when they're in other stuff. I think this is more gift art. I think this was Tim that drew this. I think this was another Mount Meat. So this is Tim drawing me. And then this was me drawing another like Flux in a different style, and actually this was the one that stuck. I really liked how those eyes looked, and then that eventually became like a permanent thing for Flux. And yeah, just me practicing that style again, me returning to my old Sonic fan art stuff. I think this was Eddie again, with his Control Z because he's a digital artist. And then I think that's Strange that drew that one. And then me just practicing that style again. I think the game was really starting to stick at this point. I think that's Rusty's mom. I think that was Rusty's mom, was like an explorer sort of character. And I was drawing like some weird warrior character. I don't think this is based on anyone. I think I just made this up. And then I drew Wibble and Rusty as like a Night Watch sort of character. And so yeah, I think this is around the time when I sort of met Wibble Rusty for the first time. And so like I was drawing the character a lot. And then I think I was just practicing a female character. I think this is like the princess of this made-up world for like the dragon character. So this was like the princess design for that. And then I think this was around the time I got my Les Paul. So I was like really over the top about that, really over the moon about it. So I just drew Flux rocking out on the Les Paul. And then just Flux as a warrior for some reason. I think it was just still in like a fantasy sort of mood at that point. I don't know what was going for with this. I think it was just me trying different styles and stuff. I was doing like a lot more side profile sort of practices, more leg practices, and then I think definitely me sort of documenting a moment in life. I think this drawing was Casper, and I think this was at Furcation. And this was the moment that we came up with an in-joke, which only me and a few other people get. Hashtag Morgan Seaman. So this was drawn during Furcation 2016, I think, or it might have been like the lead up to Furcation 2016. I think basically just the idea here was just I was drawing Flux in like a kind of a holiday outfit. So he was in like casuals and flip-flops. And then this was a drawing of Wibble, also just a drawing of Flux. And then on the next page, a very similar drawing. I think I was playing around with like the shapes of the eyes and stuff. So this one, they're slightly taller. And on this one, they're a bit shorter. And I think I was just kind of playing around with it. And the eyebrows are also slightly raised on that one. And then they're lowered on that one. I think we're just playing around with his sort of facial structure and stuff. I was really going through a period of trying to like change up my style and stuff and just experimenting with my own persona. This drawing was like a very dated reference. I think it was from like an animation with like a goat or something like that, and then this was like one of the screenshots from that animation. And so I drew Flux holding up a sign saying that's gay dude. And then I think that's pretty much it for this book. That was pretty much the whole of 2015, bits of 2014, and a little bit of 2016 as well. Already from like those drawings, it's already improved when going into this book. I think the thing that let me down the most was just the paper quality. The paper quality was not ideal for drawing on, but I still had some really cool concepts, really cool ideas. I didn't realize how like fleshed out a lot of like my comic ideas were. I think that's pretty cool, and it's definitely a sign that I need to actually like try and work on these more in the future. Keep your eyes peeled for the next sketchbook video. I'm really excited to show more of the progression from where I've started to in the middle, and then eventually going to where I am now. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Future Flux here. I just want to say a quick thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're curious to see how the next few sketchbooks turn out, then I currently have a few more videos available on my Patreon for all my patrons to watch as early access, so feel free to check out my page if you're interested, and please consider making a pledge as it helps support me as an artist and helps keep me making content like this, as well as getting early access to goodies such as having your name appear at the end of the video, early access to videos and finished art pieces, special behind the scenes content, access to my Discord server and discounted rates on all commissions. Thank you, and see you next week.